The mud of the Ypres salient in 1914 was not a place for philosophy. It was a place of cold necrotic rot and the rhythmic thud of artillery. By December, the war to end all wars had ground into a stalemate of jagged trenches and no man's land, a lethal strip of dirt where the only rule was, if it moves, kill it. Then, the impossible happened. On Christmas Eve, German soldiers began placing candles on their trenches and singing Stille Nacht. The British responded with First Knoll. Slowly, men who had spent months trying to bayonet each other's lungs out climbed over the parapets. They shook hands, they swapped cigarettes. They showed each other photos of their wives. Military command was horrified. To the generals miles behind the lines, this was a breakdown of the system. But to the men in the mud, it was the emergence of a more sophisticated one. This wasn't just holiday spirit. It was the first recorded data point of a phenomenon that sociologists and game theorists call the live and let live system. Without a single signed treaty, soldiers on both sides had intuitively mapped out a new set of rules. If you don't shell our breakfast wagon, we won't sniper your latrines. If you pull your patrols back, we'll pull ours back too. What these soldiers discovered beneath the fog of war was the invisible grid. They had shifted their coordinates on a map they didn't even know they were carrying. They had moved from a zero horizon, kill or be killed this second, to a finite horizon. If we both survive today, we might see tomorrow. The geometry of behavior. For decades, we've tried to explain human behavior through the messy lenses of psychology, religion, or personality. We've labeled people good or evil, brave or cowardly, but these labels are lagging indicators. They tell us what happened, but they don't explain the mechanics of how it happened. If you want to understand why a CEO sinks a 100-year-old company for a quarterly bonus, or why a parent rushes into a burning building, you have to look at the geometry. Human behavior isn't a cloud, it's a coordinate. Every decision we make, from the trivial to the existential, is plotted along three independent but interacting axes. These axes are the hardwired software of our species, honed by millions of years of evolutionary pressure. They are the three axes of the foundational model. Axis A, the temporal horizon, the when of our logic. Axis B, the optimization driver, the why of our effort. Axis C, the moral enforcement style, the how of our power, the convergence solution. We often think of morality as something handed down from a mountaintop etched in stone, but the Christmas Truce proves something far more radical. Morality isn't a divine instruction, it is a convergence solution. In game theory, if two players are locked in a room and told to play a game forever, they eventually stop trying to screw each other over. Why? Because unbounded harm, destroying your opponent, eventually destroys the game itself. If I kill you, I have no one to trade with. If I burn the field, I have no food. Trust is a biological requirement for coordination, and coordination is a biological requirement for survival. This is the central nervous system of our model. Morality emerges where time extends. When your temporal horizon is zero, you are a predator. When it is eternal, you are a builder. The live and let live system in the trenches wasn't a fluke. It was the math of survival asserting itself. The moment those soldiers realized the war wasn't ending in a week, their time horizon stretched. And as the horizon stretched, their optimization driver shifted from experience, the thrill of the kill, to survival, staying alive to see home. The map is not the territory, but it's close. This book is an exploration of that map. We aren't here to tell you how to be a better person. We are here to show you the coordinates you are currently occupying and the stress drift that might be pulling you toward a cliff you can't yet see. We are going to peel back the skin of history and look at the gears. We'll see how the same math that allowed those soldiers to share a cigarette in 1914 explains the collapse of the Roman Empire, the rise of the modern megacorporation, and the quiet heroism of the person sitting in the cubicle next to you. The grid is invisible, but the results are written in blood, gold, and stone. It's time we learned how to read the coordinates.